One of the best and one of the most well-known ETF analysts from one of the most well-respected companies in the nation just said that he thinks an XRP ETF is coming in the next year. I want to talk about that along with what Michael Saylor said yesterday, talking about how basically the stablecoin industry could 100x from here. And honestly, Ripple could be a big winner in that. I just added to some Ripple positions. I went long on Ripple and added to some long positions on, I should say, XRP. So if you want to stay through to the end of the video, I'll get through all this. A lot of cool news coming out for Ripple XRP lovers. And if you want to trade XRP, if you want to trade other crypto assets, there's a link to BTCC underneath the video. You can sign up and you get some benefits for being a first-time depositor. You get 10% bonus, and you get lower trading fees. You get bonuses up to $10,000 per user, and you can go up to 500x leverage. Of course, make sure you understand the risks of leverage trading. Make sure you read their terms and conditions as well. As you can see, XRP was in a bit of a downtrend from the beginning of December. Went from almost $3 down to $1.90. I actually opened up a long position around this point, and we're up massively in it. I just added to a long position and opened up a new long position as well. You can see that we flipped out of this downtrend, retested this line of what was resistance, flipped into support and started moving up. And then we came down today. Bitcoin looks extremely bullish, but is experiencing a bit of a pullback too. We went down to the point that we got rejected on just yesterday, and it looks like we may flip this into support, $2.58. So I added to a position. Of course, I could always be wrong, so do your own research, but we have gotten a lot of bullish news. Eric Balkunas says, and if you don't know who he is, he's the senior ETF analyst for Bloomberg. He was covering the Bitcoin ETFs the entire time around since they were announced. He says, we expect a wave of ETFs next year, albeit not all at once. First out is likely a Bitcoin ETH combo ETF, then probably Litecoin, HBAR, and then XRP or Solana, which have been labeled securities and pending lawsuits. So they're expecting these ETFs to come probably next year. This could be extremely bullish for all these cryptocurrency assets. I mean, look at some of the inflows that we've seen from Bitcoin. Obviously, Bitcoin's a much larger asset. A lot more people will invest in it. It's not as centralized, but if you could get 1/100th of what the Bitcoin ETFs are getting, that would probably push the cryptos pretty well. And that could be a big narrative for them. Obviously, the Bitcoin ETFs are swallowing up about 300 to 500 million a day over the last 3 weeks. We also got news that anti-Bitcoin SEC Commissioner Caroline Crenshaw will not be renominated to her position. She voted against spot Bitcoin ETF approval. She was one of the 2 people that voted against it. So pretty much, and I covered this in my last video, anyone that's anti-crypto, anti-Bitcoin is out. No one wants them there. There's been a lot of money that's lobbied to get more pro-crypto, pro-Bitcoin laws passed and legislation passed, and more pro-crypto and pro-Bitcoin politicians. And all these individuals that are lobbying are much richer than they were a year ago. And they're much richer than they were 2 years ago. They're going to continue to lobby because their businesses and net worth go up exactly with the cryptocurrency market. So as time goes on, there's going to be more and more money that's lobbying for more pro-crypto legislation. So I think, the likes of Ripple and other similar companies, US-based cryptos, are going to do really well. Actually, Donald Trump just met with Crypto.com CEO Chris Marzelek. So that's pretty bullish as well. Like these people, Brad Garlinghouse, they're getting time with the president and with high up officials. Now, I want to move over. Ripple launched their RLUSD today, and I haven't seen too many people talk about like what kind of volume it's doing today. It will be interesting. I'm sure that we'll get some news about that in the next few days. How many people are buying it? What's the market cap look like? That kind of thing. How much is processed right now? I will say, though, there was a really interesting clip from Michael Saylor yesterday. And actually, I played this and gave some of my thoughts on it. I played the full 10-minute clip, and it got taken down from because of NBC. They copyrighted it. So unfortunately, you can't see it. I'm not going to play it here. But one of the things that Michael Saylor talks about being really bullish over the next year is better regulation. And they'd say, well, why is the U.S. government going to help Bitcoin? Isn't the crypto industry a threat against the U.S. dollar? And Michael says, no. The fact is, the U.S. could assert their global dominance even further with crypto. The reason for that, there are a lot of countries where people want to buy the U.S. dollar, and part of it is it's just stronger than their own currency. It's debased less. They want to buy the U.S. dollar, but they don't really have a good way to do it right now. It's very difficult. So if you could get better legislation, if you could get, stable coins that are maybe a little bit more regulated, you could go from having something like Tether, which has a $130 billion market cap, to some other stable coin. Maybe it's Tether, maybe it's RLUSD, maybe it's some US JP Morgan backed stablecoin that goes to $10 trillion. He says there's a huge demand for this outside the US, and that could be fulfilled with crypto. That could be something that, helps assert global dominance for the US dollar. Maybe like, okay, dollar is your spending currency and Bitcoin is your savings account, and then other cryptos are used for utility or speculation, something like that. So this is kind of fascinating. I hadn't thought about it exactly like that, but obviously there are a lot of people that do want access to stable coins because they don't want the volatility of Bitcoin, because they're trying to use currencies in the short term, right? They might not have enough ability to, stomach a 20% downfall. They might need the money in 2 weeks. So they're not going to go put it into Bitcoin, but they don't have a good way to put it in stablecoins right now. So RLUSD could be a winner of that. USDT could be a winner of that. Some new cryptocurrency backed by BlackRock, some new stablecoin, BlackRock USD, I don't know, could be the winner of that. The thing is, though, if that happens, if we get better regulation, I think it helps all of the stablecoins. I think it's healthy for there to be competition between them. And I mean, I don't think a lot of companies are planning on doing this. But imagine if you had if you had $10,000 or more in a stablecoin, if they knew it on chain and then just sent you interest like that. That's one of the things that could happen, where instead of putting money at a certain bank, they literally, if they have your wallet address, they can send you stablecoin for holding their native stablecoin. Like imagine a 3% interest rate where you just hold your Tether on chain, right, in your wallet or something, and they just continuously drop you more USDT tokens. That's the kind of thing that can happen when there's a good amount of competition, but there's really no need for them to do that now. They're just making all this money because people will use their stablecoin no matter what. But imagine that could happen at some point in the future. Let me know your thoughts on all this. Obviously, XRP is in at like a pretty key level, 260. If we move up to $3, there are going to be a lot of liquidations. I believe it's $3 billion worth of liquidations at $3, or $2.7 billion of liquidations. So be on the lookout for that. If we start making another push up, we're getting darn close. There's going to be manipulation for sure because people don't want to get liquidated. So be ready for some volatility. Obviously, a lot of it will come down to Bitcoin as well. Again, if you want to trade XRP, if you want to trade other cryptos, there's a link to BTCC. We opened this position at $2.04. So I was off a little bit on the bottom here, but we gave ourselves enough cushion, and yeah, we're up 134%. So again, check this out underneath the video. Really appreciate you. I'll see y'all in the next one.